So I was all complaining about being bored earlier. When that freezing rain started coming down, definitely realized that it was gonna impact the amount of space that I had inside of the shelter. So I went ahead and took my third pole, stuck it up right in the middle there. I've brought that flap up from the back, and I've now tied it off with a piece of wire, or not wire, yellow nylon rope, using my last peg. So I'm now out of pegs, and I took some of my rope on this other side, tied it down to one of my pegs that was already in. The weather doesn't seem to want to make up its mind with what it wants to do. So, you know, I guess fire's going. Maybe I'll cook up dinner sooner than later. But I'll keep the DSLR off just in case it starts to pour down. Well, hello again. Oh, I don't even know what time it is. Oh, check that. Daylight's obviously gone. We're gonna film with the lights on fire now. That's really all I have for lights. I got a couple of flashlights, but they won't help with filming. Got potatoes, carrots, onions, and celery. Top of the fire now. Prepped that in the back of the car. Gosh, that would have been a funny sight, I think. Let that simmer for a bit before I throw the steak on. But, you know, figured I'd turn the camera on, show myself and anybody else that watches that, hey, I made it this far, cooking dinner. Still haven't paid for the site. It's a little odd that I haven't seen any park staff yet. Hey, if I get through this for free, I get through this for free, right? One less expense. Going through probably one piece of wood every 20 to 25 minutes. I'm gonna have to throw a little bit more on, obviously, to cook the steak. I think at that rate, I should make it most of the way through the night. Wake up maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, the last time to stoke the fire. Should be just about out of wood by then, or just enough wood to cook breakfast in the morning. I saved half the potato, so maybe I'll do up some hash browns. Still got some of that salami left and some of that provolone cheese, and have that kind of a breakfast going on. Cherry tomatoes are still there. I ain't gonna starve. I'm not gonna have to wait until 8 o'clock when the gate opens so that I can go get IHOP or Starbucks or something. I found that while I was slicing up my vegetables, I threw a couple of the droppings onto the ground and immediately had to correct myself. You know, I was talking about irritants or attractants not that long ago. Oh, my boots are steaming. Close to the fire. It has gotten quite wet. I'm sure you can still hear it coming down a bit. When I adjusted the shelter, I actually kind of went brain dead there. When I flipped the thing over, all the snow and rain moisture that had collected on it all fell to the front area of its shelter here. So the sleeping pad got a little wet, the sleeping bag got a little wet. Everything else I have sitting here did. Should still be okay. I've got enough dry clothes in my bag. If I need to, I can change. Oh, this one's really sparking up. Might have to stand up and tend the fire for a bit while these potatoes cook. But yeah, you know, I need to check what time it is. Gotta be coming up. 4:30 now. Oh, shit. 20 to 5. 20 to 5 and still no staff. They closed the gate at 5:30. You'd have to assume that they get out here at least a little bit before that, just in case somebody can't pay. They gotta kick them off site. I'm gonna stand up for a minute, take care of this fire, maybe get my steak ready to go on. Oh, shit. So I'm looking at the back of the camera here. Battery's about dead. I don't know how much more I'm gonna get to film. Little Parks guy was finally here. Took him long enough. So I'm paid. He's about to go shut the gate, which, as he should. DSLR is almost out of battery, so I went and put her in the car. Won't be doing anything more on that tonight. Maybe do a little bit in the morning while I'm tearing down. See how much I can get before I kill the battery. I've decided to forego my steak dinner. I'm just gonna eat like a vegetarian. Eat my potatoes and stuff. They're still on there, simmering away. I actually asked the guy about cougars. Now I will fully admit I'm a little sketched about apex predators, and he said in his 15 years working around here, he's never seen one. He did say there have been a few bear, but they've been staying away from the park, mostly going after people's garbage. And not to worry about it or anything, but a little bit further into the colder of the winter, there have been some wolves. They come down here because it's a little bit warmer than a little further up on the mountains. I'm gonna eat my thing, drink my beer. It's a little after 5 o'clock now. I don't know, it seems too early to be thinking about bed, but I might actually crawl into the sleeping bag and just watch the fire for a while. Bring some wood a little bit closer, keep feeding it. Gotta keep it low because of what I did with the shelter. But I do want to keep it going all night, as long as I can. So yeah, I'm gonna eat and I will talk to you in a bit. Okay, didn't make it near as long as I was hoping to. I'm in the car. I did a couple of fundamental things wrong, and I think I knew a lot earlier than now that I wasn't going to make the night in the shelter. It looks okay, don't get me wrong there, but I don't think it was ever going to stand up to the snow. It's pretty snowy. Another big issue was the fire. I'm on the ground, which is fine if you have a fire that can be on the ground. But because of the fire pit, there was really no heat coming into the shelter at all. I laid down where the sleeping bag was, and I wasn't getting any heat. So the shelter itself, while being fine, was made with the wrong tarp. If I'd have brought the right tarp, the square one with the metallic silver bottom, that might have helped with the heat, but also it might not have, just because of the way the fire pit was. So the tarp is definitely something that I could have done better. The fire pit, there's nothing that I could have done about that. I'm going to call this a learning experience. It's not a failure. And I do definitely plan on trying to do this again. Though I don't know if I'm going to do it in the winter, like I was saying earlier. And I definitely think, like, maybe it's just the sound of the snow and the fact that I have the car so close to the shelter that just every little sound was sketching me out. I don't know why. I've never had an encounter with a wild animal. I don't think it's going to start tonight either. But yeah, so I'm in the car, got the sleeping bag in here with me. I'll probably turn it on for a little bit to warm it up. get into the sleeping bag and just chill out here for about 12 hours. Yeah, it's that early. It's about 7 o'clock. I'll probably stoke the fire back up in the morning, cook up that steak, finish off the vegetable. I took the vegetables off. They were taking too long. I couldn't have the fire high enough just because of the way the shelter had to be fixed. So they weren't cooking. I ate the rest of that salami and cheese. There's still some cheese left. Yeah, in the morning I'll cook up that steak. Wake up nice and early. Maybe wake up around 6. Hopefully by then there'll be some light. And gate opens at 8 o'clock, so I'll probably be home nice and early. I will record a little bit more in the morning, and we'll see how much of this actually makes it into the final cut, whether or not I even post it. All right, good night. Well, guys, it's about 7:30 in the morning. See, we had a little bit of snow last night. Most of the stuff on the ground's melted. The shelter, jeez, might have to go get a flashlight. So as you can see, shelter fared a lot better than I did. It drooped quite a bit. I would have been probably out of there at some point last night anyways. But it's dry, except for what got wet when I did the adjustments last night. Wood's a little wet on the edges, but everything that's on the inside is dry. So, well, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't end up sleeping in it. I did lay down in it for a bit. Could have, you know, if everything would have worked out properly, this fire would have been able to keep me warm. It definitely would have worked, even with this high amount of precipitation we got. Like it seriously, it snowed hard, and then when it got warm, it rained, and it rained all night. Yeah, I'm disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. I'll figure it out. Find another trip. Probably not until spring now. Let it warm up a bit. Yeah, there's even still some snow around my car. Some snow on top of it too. It's not fully rain coming down right now either. I'm still feeling some hard stuff. But yeah, it's getting close to 8 o'clock when they open the gate, so I'm gonna tear down and get the hell out of here.